Sorry about that. I've been having some frame rate issues. So, anyways, um, as I was saying, man, I keep losing my train of thought. So, anyways, what's this lag all of a sudden? But anyways, I'm gonna have to try and do this as a backup plan, cause if I, well, because let's see, I'm not gonna sit around. Well, at least try to make this a quick trip to the moon. Basically, it's probably gonna have to be like this. Like you're down, your feet on the ground. You find this dungeon. You kill the boss. You get the schematics. You head back. You get another rocket. You head back to Earth, and well, not to mention, well, what about well, I would have to rewatch some of the Augscast videos just so that I could try and get an idea about how to get this whole infinite amount of oxygen being done. Basically, well, it's still a riddle to be puzzled. Basically, because let's see. For example, I'm very serious about. Yeah, sorry, spelled it wrong. Okay, so compressor, decompressor. I wonder that. Trying to figure out if that's well, I don't think it means anything in what I'm hoping for. Because what if I'm in need of a I don't know, reserve basically. Since I got this much. Might as well put it here already. But anyways, but anyway, anyways, well, I'm just trying to figure out how to do stuff. But let's get back to the subject about why I hate Apocalypse. Well, the next one is what a lot of people think is going to happen. Like, oh my goodness, the world is getting slower and slower and slower, and you're like, okay, if the world is getting slower and slower and slower, don't you think that in a day, basically, oops, not what I wanted. Do you just think that in a day, basically, one day would basically be, I don't know, a few seconds, think of that one time when, you're try to imagine your days being 1 second, and as well as your night times. Like you wake up, you go to bed. You wake up, you go to bed. You wake up, you go to bed. And now this comes along where one day is like 2 days long, and then becomes 10 days long, and so on and so forth. And then you're like, okay, what is going on? And then the next thing you know is there's almost stupid frame rate issues. Why won't you die? And then you're like, come on, don't tell. It's what's wrong with the wall I give you? What's wrong with black wall, you stupid die? Do I need white wall? Fine, I'll go look for my shears like I was going to. If I can find it. Come on, where are you, little? There it is. Had it on me the whole time. If I have to go out and find white sheep, I will. I'll get back to you guys in a moment. Wow. I was back. I just had to turn into a bat, and I just thought this was going to be a long trip, so might as well skip it. But apparently, nope. So I got turns out I need white wool. You dirty snitch. I shall get you for that. So anyways, with that being said, yeah, this is basically my my secondary plan, basically, where if I have to, I will, but I would like to at least have a base of operations where I don't have to recycle or reload canisters just so that I could continue, well, something that could give me a reason to stay on the moon a lot longer and just, well, to go to Mars. Basically, what the moon yields is that you basically need a lot of, well, asteroids. Sorry, yeah. So I keep losing my train of thought. Like what? So anyways, about that being said, stupid lag issues. Why won't you die? Just leave me alone and piss off, or I'll make you drink piss and shit all day. 'Cause I'm not in the mood for this. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, what's the second thing I hate about the apocalypse? Let's see. There is nuclear apocalypse. Basically, there's one I didn't mention. Well, I'll probably explain what all apocalypse have in common as soon as stuff hits the fan, and it is. I can see why. It's basically the part where well, let's be honest. As soon as well, let's see, the nuclear apocalypse. Well, you basically do not have well, some areas are radiated, and yet you need oxygen, and yet, what the? I'm looking at the door, and yet I'm selecting the workbench. What the fudge? But anyways, yeah. Anyways, I'm basically having a lot of, well, you would have issues, basically, like, not only you have to watch out for nuclear radiation zones so that you don't get nuclear poisoning, but it's not like Walmart or Toys R Us basically was in the business of selling hazmat suits or those nuclear-proof outfits that keep you from being radiated. But I have watched a show called Mansers where they showed you how you could make your own nuclear-proof outfit, and to be honest, well, it's been a while, but I can only remember a few things. You had to basically cut a lot of fabric material, then you had to like cover it in some kind of, well, it's been a while, so I forgot a lot basically, but it was helpful material by their terms. Basically enough to, well, the idea was to create the suit, this homemade outfit made out of household materials, including your own clothes. Yes, your own clothes. Basically, would protect you is one thing, but other than that, everywhere else, you almost got like you can't. It's almost like in other areas, like you just have the typical "do not pass go, do not collect $200" kind of concept, because now you have to wait 100 years or so just for the radiation to dissipate, and you're like, 100 years? I don't got 100 years. And yet you're like wondering how you're gonna get through your day like that, and almost a lot of people will be like, well, we don't, so game over, pal. And you're like, oh, dude, that is so not cool. And so what's next? Overpopulation type of apocalypse, and this is where almost a lot of people would be like blaming irresponsible teenagers for not using condoms and having too much kids, and the next thing you know is you got so many people. Well, people start complaining like, "Oh, there's too much people. There's not enough room." And well, a guy named Ken Hovind was like one time. Well, look around you. You basically got a lot of open space. Basically, like the Sahara Desert has more open space for everyone to start populating than you think, basically. But not a lot of people would want to live in the Sahara Desert. But the next thing is, the reason people start blaming overpopulation on, or start pointing pointing fingers at a lot of things about why we can't have affordable houses, a lot of space, all that kind of stuff. Because some guy just wanted to have more kids, or someone wanted other people to have more kids, so they just went out of control. Well, before we start pointing even more fingers, let's see. The part of, well, one thing to put on the blame game is that, well, one group of people couldn't decide where to develop, because every time you develop somewhere, you're basically in the way of some animals' migrational path, or you're basically interrupting their natural habitat, and yet they have nowhere else to go, so they have to become the pests of your area, basically. And you're wondering, why are we having these animals become a bunch of pests, and why not do something about it, and all that kind of stuff. Like, why is there a moose in my yard, and all that kind of stuff. And well, not to mention when, well, while people are trying to tear down one apartment building so that they could build bigger apartment buildings so that they could hold 10,000 people. Let's not forget that everyone has needs. Like they need like sooner or later, people are gonna be like, I want that new iPhone, mommy, give me the new iPhone, give me the new iPhone, give me, and then, well, an iPhone also costs money, but not just the jobs that are being taken up. Like I can't have a job because some other guy has it, and yet I can't even well, all I can do is, and yet there's not enough money to be spread around, so I'm poor and have to live off someone else's living allowance because of that. But it's not just jobs. You can't. It's not only can you not be able to afford a new iPhone, but there's not enough materials to suddenly go around to make the new iPhone. Like turns out that plastic is made out of oil, and as soon as oil is gone, there's no lubrication for the engine, there's no gasoline, there's no plastic, and you're basically game over for you. And then everyone starts beating the crap out of each other for oil, because again, people wanted more kids and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, well, why couldn't this happen, yada yada yada. And well, if you quit complaining, maybe nothing like this would happen. And so anyways, so then the next thing you know is everyone's dying off from too much overpopulation, because food's in demand, there's a food shortage, there's a material shortage. Next thing you know is everyone has to share each other's clothes because we don't want naked people running amok. And then all of a sudden you decide, well, there's a homeless guy over there, let's go beat him up for those clothes he's wearing, and yet then you get arrested for assaulting a guy, and your biggest excuse was, well, he was poor, he had no home, nobody cared about him, so I decided to take his clothes from him, which of course I still happen to need. And then not only are you going to jail for murder, but attempting to steal. And then, but let's see what else. Well, let's put it this way. So let's put one thing we can all agree is that zombie apocalypse, nuclear apocalypse, Mother Nature's apocalypse, all can lead to people being complete jerks, and I mean that completely. Like, you think, well, everybody knows that as much as I do. Like, look at The Walking Dead. Is that a skeleton I'm hearing? That's a, hold on. I thought I had it set to peaceful. Oh, normal. I see. No one. So I thought I had it set to normal. Sorry, peaceful. Okay, you know what? I'm going to. Oops. Oh, it's not even nighttime yet, and yet there's a skeleton somewhere. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do, well, be right back, bros. I'm gonna have to sell this. If he's in my underground cave that's like underneath my smeltery, I'm gonna kick his ass. But first, I need a gun. Whoa. Well, that was unexpected. Sorry, I was like aiming for. Wow. I hate that. Basically, like seriously, you just that was an unnecessary discharge. Yeah. I cannot. Okay, so it's not in my underground cave, but dude, I cannot believe I just wasted a bullet for that. There's another thing I forgot to mention. If you want ammo to survive the apocalypse, oops, you basically like spending ammo is like spending money, spending your allowance while living with the poor people. While living with poor people. Like Amy Gaines' kidneys family's poor, and he can't even spend a lot of money because he can't afford a lot, and they only can't even give him blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And well, that being said, so not only do people become jerks, like as soon as this kind of stuff hits the fan, a bunch of group of people think, hey, we're the cool kids. We've been the cool kids club ever since we were in high school, so we should survive the apocalypse. We have the right to survive anything we want. And like, oh my god, you guys are complete jerks, and yet we have nothing. And yet, while you're trying to survive zombies, how are you gonna end up surviving jerks? Because next thing you know is, well, they got guns, and yet you've been used to a group of jerks, that being zombies, where all you got is some bunch of clowns who can't even get you from range, because they have to bite you in order for that to happen, and you got a gun, but you don't have much ammo to go around, because there's not a lot of, there's no gun stores nearby that sells bullets for the guns you have, or there's no gun stores, period. But anyways, but yeah, you had to like get away from those kind of jerks just so that you don't get killed. But anyways, that's all I can tell for you people. I'll see you guys later, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace out, guys.